Alright, so my name is Etienne Jordan. This is the first time that I'm doing a video like this. I like to read books. I do like to read comics. Well, I haven't in a long time, years. But I also love to watch movies and TV shows. Have a huge collection, in fact, of movies and TV shows and books. Most of my books, I would say, are made up of fantasy, uh, science fiction, the majority of that being Star Trek. I'm a huge Trekkie. Some of them are superhero stuff, like mostly Marvel. Yes, there are Marvel novels, not comics, actual novels, and they're pretty good. At least the ones that I have. Oh, and a lot of horror and supernatural stuff. The majority of my shows and movies are science fiction, fantasy, horror, and supernatural. Um, yeah, so I've got a few drama and suspense. I've got a lot of action and adventure stuff too. I've got a few drama and suspense stuff, a little bit of comedy, but those aren't the areas that I normally watch. Um, Two of my friends kind of dragged me kicking and screaming into anime, but once they did, I ended up not regretting it. So I'm also an anime fan too, but it depends on the anime, like Fate Stay Night and the other Fate Stay stuff that's been coming out, which is on Netflix right now, or at least it was last time I checked. Those are awesome. Um, love those. Um, my favorite shows that are currently still active and on: Supernatural, Walking Dead, Stranger Things, Game of Thrones. Some of my favorites that have gone away, which still hurts: True Blood, Vampire Diaries, um, Teen Wolf. That one really hurt. So I'm an inspiring writer. I am working on stories that I plan to get published. Most of them deal with either the supernatural, or their science fiction, their fantasy, or I do have some superhero stuff that I'm working on that are actual original creations that I made. They have nothing to do with anyone else. Um, I'm also working on script ideas for TV shows. Some of them are original stuff that I've come up with, but some of them are stuff that I would need I would need permission to put out, because I'll watch a movie or I'll read a book and I'll look at it and be like, hey, that could make a really good TV show if it was done right and done by the right people. And I'll make a note of it and I'll start working on it. And I may still try to put that out, but I'm not trying to get money for that, for those. I would just like maybe the recognition, and I think it would just be awesome to see an idea that I felt that I saw, like that no one else caught on to, and have it get implemented. Like no one else noticed that that movie would make for a good TV show until I gave a studio the idea and they ran with it. So that would be just great. And I mean, movies and books get turned into TV shows all the time. Vampire Diaries and True Blood were both based on novels. Um, and they were both hugely successful. Teen Wolf, awesome show. Thank you, Jeff Davis. That was loosely based on a movie of the same name, which was done years and years ago with Michael J. Fox. Excuse me, sorry. Um, so that went really, that show was really awesome. Thank you, Jeff Davis. Um, I'm also working on, with several of my friends, a fantasy world which we hope to make into books and games. And if I remember correctly, from what we talked about as far as the games go, we were planning to have it on computer, on console, and pen and paper like D&D. So that'll be awesome once we get done. I don't know when we'll be done with that one, because it's a lot more work than I think we initially realized. And it's taking longer, especially since we haven't been able to consistently work on it as much as we'd like. And in fact, I actually need to check with them and make sure that they're still all committed to it, because it's been a while and I'm still committed to it, and I like working on it when I can. It's just a matter of finding the time. But once that's out there, I'm thinking that we'll have some definite fans, because while we do have some of the old stuff that you would expect in a fantasy world, like elves and dwarves and stuff, we are, I think, planning to put our own little spin on them. We're gonna be having new races, and we're just gonna have some original content in that fantasy world too. Some stuff that's not out in other places. So it should be really awesome once we get done with it. I also run 2 games. I'm a game master for Marvel and Mystic Kills. My Marvel campaign has been running for 4 or 5 years now. I've had players come and go, but I still have a large group of loyal players. We play every 2 weeks on Saturday. Right now, I have the game broken down into seasons like a TV show, and we are coming up to the end of season 3. We will be moving right into season 4 after that, and I'm looking forward to that. It should be fun. I've got some big plans. I'm gonna tap into the Marvel movies, and I'm also going to be running with storylines from straight out of the comics, while adding my own content as well. Mystic Kills is a game that I made up, which combines several of my favorite supernatural shows. The main 2 that the setting of the game is based off of is Vampire Diaries and Teen Wolf. I literally combined those towns, and those characters are now able to interact with each other, like Scott talking and meeting Elena Gilbert and stuff like that. It's just crazy. But the universe itself is made up of other shows too, like Supernatural, Buffy, and of course its spin-off series Angel, Charmed, Grimm. There's other shows in there, but those are the main ones that make up that universe. And it's just, I mean, each of those universes are kind of huge on their own, but combining them made for an even huger universe. And I initially thought I couldn't do it, but actually with them being so similar, it wasn't that hard to intermingle their mythologies to each other. And it's actually been, because like several of the shows will have their own vampires or their own werewolves. It's easy to just say, oh, they're just different species in this game universe. So that's kind of interesting, running with that. That game it took a while, but we are finally done with all the beta tests to get all the kinks out. And we have been playing it now nowhere near as long as Marvel. Mystic Kills, we've done 4 or 5 game sessions, and we're still literally at the beginning. But that's mostly because we don't play it anywhere near as much as we play Marvel. We play it infrequently. We do have a Mystic Kills game session coming up though this Saturday. My group is also for that game not as big as my Marvel group, but I like that. I'm gonna keep that group small, because that game is, I can do Marvel anytime. It's easy for me. I mean, I could just whip up a game session off of the top of my head without any planning. But Mystic Kills, I actually need to plan. So that game is crazy and it's complicated. But it's fun. It's fun. My players seem to enjoy it, and it's interesting. Right now, where we're at in the game, we are still at the beginning area of Vampire Diaries and Teen Wolf. So for those of you that have watched those shows and know what happened at the beginning of those shows, then you'll know where we're at in the game right now. But it's interesting to note that there's changes in the game, because my players are there, and they've each made their own original characters, plus I've added other NPCs into the game universe thanks to all the other shows that I have in there. So all these characters are able to interact with the Vampire Diary cast and the Teen Wolf cast, on top of those two casts interacting with each other, which of course obviously never happened in the shows. So that puts a whole new spin on things, and it just adds different things to different elements to it, which is, it's complicated, but it's fun seeing the different things that happen because of it. So that's interesting. I do have some other games off the top of my head that I can pop out and run with, but I think I'm gonna wait on those for right now, because I'm a little bit busy with everything else I'm doing. The two games that I'm running, the fantasy world that I'm working on, the scripts and stories that I'm working on. So plus I of course have a job. So yeah, a little bit busy, but I may even wait till one of the games that I'm working on right now dwindles off or whatever, or we come to a break or something, and then I'll pop out one of the other ones that I'm thinking about doing. So but yeah, I am a gamer also. I do like playing video games, although for some reason I haven't been in the mood to play any video games. I mean, I have some really good games and I haven't even touched them since I got them. I don't know what's going on with me. I don't know why. I mean, I'll look at them and the urge isn't there. And the funny thing is, even when I'll start to have the urge to play one of them, something else will come up. Like, oh, I need to do these chores real quick, or around the house, or oh, one of my shows is coming on. I want to watch that, or I want to watch this movie, or I need to be working on my stuff. I need to work on one of my stories, or stuff for one of the games. I haven't done anything in like a week. Yeah, so it's just stuff comes up, I get distracted, and then the game gets put on the video game gets put on the back burner. So I don't know, maybe I'll start feeling in the mood to play sooner or later, because I do have some really good games. So what else can I say about myself to let you guys know stuff about me? I'm really not sure. Oh, I am a huge Marvel and DC Comics fan. I'm actually rooting for both of those companies. Even though DC seems to be doing kind of badly. I mean, Wonder Woman was good, but Marvel is kicking their butts as far as the live action movies, which is sad, because I'm actually rooting for both companies. I like both companies. I have characters that I like in both companies. So, and quite frankly, I mean, if both of them are on point and doing their jobs really well, it's the fans that win. So, yeah, I'm rooting for both. However, DC's animated films have been awesome, and their CW shows are awesome. So anyone not watching that stuff yet should check it out. DC's on point with that stuff for sure. And although I haven't touched Gotham, my mom loves it, and I've heard good things, so check that out. But Marvel does have some good shows of its own. I mean, their Netflix shows like Daredevil and Punisher are awesome. They've actually got some other shows coming out that aren't tied to Netflix, but are still supposedly in the MCU. Like Cloak and Dagger, that's coming. I forget what channel that'll be coming to. I'll look it up though. I read it, but I can't remember off the top of my head right now. Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., that's still on. They're in their 5th season. It's a little bit crazy because I believe they're now in space. I haven't had a chance to watch that season yet, but I have been watching that show before. season 1 to 4, and I'm a fan, so I'll check that out eventually. But yeah, Marvel's got some good shows out there, and it's not to say that they don't have good animated stuff either. I mean, some of the best cartoons that we've had came from Marvel, like the old Spider-Man and the original X-Men cartoon. Those were awesome. I miss those. um, but yeah, I'm a big Marvel and DC Comics fan. Probably lean more towards Marvel, which is why I'm a GM of a Marvel game universe. But yeah, I'm still a fan of DC too. But I'm gonna go. Hopefully I didn't screw up too much on this video. Hopefully some people like it, and I will be putting up more when I can.